About?
What's an ethnic Brit, Oswald? What do you mean by that?
English, Welsh, Scots and Irish.
So am I English?
No, you're a Pakistani man.
Well, I was born in England, and England's a country, so am I English?
So what's your ethnicity?
Well, that's not what I'm asking you, though, because Anglo-Saxon
that's what I'm asking you.
But English is not in my head an ethnicity. English is a country.
You're about to witness a conversation that perfectly captures how prejudice can unravel when it's challenged with calm, relentless logic rather than anger. Instead of shouting over the noise, the host methodically exposes the contradictions behind a claim that has become increasingly common in Britain's immigration and identity debates. But before we dive into the full story, comment where you're watching from. And don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss the next one. Because this exchange isn't just about one caller. It reveals a much bigger conversation about what it truly means to be British in modern Britain.
It's quite interesting. You say that fish only accounts for 1% of GDP, but it's obviously very evocative because it's all everyone's talking about at the moment. No one's talking about the City of London or kind of food trucks going in and out. Although you do hear some kind of you back and forth about that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I think the whole thing about fish is because it's relating to the waters surrounding this island and what is British waters and what
right.
people have access to.
Which is why it's not really about the fish, I suspect, Oswald. It's about the territorial waters.
It's about control, and I mean most of the time, I think what people are really interested in, if you kind of zoom out the whole Brexit debate thing, is what will the government do when they take an action or they make a decision or they make a choice when they're negotiating. Will it either diminish the chance of ethnic Brits becoming a minority by 2066? Will it make that date further away? Are they interested in it? Do they know about it? Do they care about it?
Sorry, I didn't understand also. What you say, what diminish the chance of ethnic Brits? Sorry, I don't get what you mean. Could you rephrase that?
So ethnic Brits are currently on course to become a minority by 2066, roughly thereabouts.
What's an ethnic Brit, Oswald? What do you mean by that?
English, Welsh, Scots and Irish.
So am I English?
No, you're a Pakistani man.
Well, I was born in England, and England's a country, so am I English?
So what's your ethnicity?
Well, that's not what I'm asking you, though, because Anglo-Saxon
that's what I'm asking you.
But English is not in my head an ethnicity. English is a country. And hold on, Oswald, let me tell you what I think. Anglo-Saxon is an ethnicity, and England is a country. So I'm wondering because, by the way, there's no such ethnicity as Pakistani either, Oswald. Pakistan was a country created in 1947 out of about 5 ethnicities.
Well, I'm sorry I'm not a learned historian about the past of your country.
Well, you don't have to apologise for... Well, it's not my country. Britain's my country, Oswald. I was born here.
Well, I'll put the question directly to you, Majid.
Well, you're more than welcome to, but before this conversation carries on, can you accept that Britain is my country?
I don't think you belong here, to be honest, Majid. I think you're a subversive globalist.
Well, that's interesting, but whether or not you think I'm a subversive globalist, and aside from whether it's true, because I'm not even going to bother to get into that conversation, just check out my views on corporatism, global corporatism, and
yes, you stated you're a
corruption.
globalist. Yes, that's correct.
That was a joke about 4 years ago, but that's a different point, Oswald. The point is, whether or not I hold that view or not, how does that negate being British? I mean, there are white people that are globalists that you'd still consider British. So I'm wondering why a falsely attributed view to me, even if you were correct, means I'm not British.
Are you happy with ethnic Brits becoming a minority in their own country?
No, that's not what... First answer my question, and then I'll answer your question.
You answer that question.
I'm afraid you don't get to dictate the terms of this conversation on this show.
That's what people want to hear. They want to hear people like you who have a voice in media.
Oswald,
they want to hear you answer that question.
Whatever you think people want to hear, could you first do me the courtesy of responding to why you think that if a white person held globalist views, you'd still consider them British, but if a brown person incorrectly attributed holds globalist views, you would... No, but then why is it... Well, I don't know. I'm asking you why you don't think I've got the right to call myself British.
Your ethnic roots come from the Middle East somewhere.
That's not what I asked you, Oswald. Why do you think I don't have the right to call myself British?
Because you're not British. How hard is it for you to understand?
So what is it you think I am?
You're a Pakistani man. You're from the Middle East.
But I don't have a Pakistani passport.
Oh, so a piece of paper dictates your ethnic origin now,
No, but Oswald, we've already agreed Pakistani is not an ethnicity. Why are you telling me I'm of the Pakistani ethnicity?
I'm not a geneticist who can tell you about the Middle East and the roots of people from the Middle East.
That's right. So can you agree that England is a country, like Scotland is a country, and the ethnicity, what you're really trying to say, and then we can actually have a conversation. I'm happy to have a conversation with you about it, but I think what you're really trying to say is that you're worried that white Anglo-Saxons are being stigmatized or discriminated against or could end up being a minority. Now, that is a legitimate conversation I can have with you, but you can't tell me that I'm not British and then want to have that conversation with me because you've already delegitimized my view as far as I'm concerned. So there's no point in me having that chat with you. Do you see?
Look, I mean, this is the view of every single nation in the world has its own ethnic people. And
yeah, Oswald, I'm not disputing that. I'm questioning your definition of English as an ethnicity because England is a country. If England were to break away from Scotland, right? That's a country, yeah? Now, people can be English because they're members of that country, but what I suspect you mean is you're worried about the plight of white Anglo-Saxons in England. Is that what you mean?
Well, yeah, basically.
Yeah, so can we agree on terms for this debate? Because I can't talk to somebody that doesn't think I have a legitimate view and a stake in my country.
You can have a legitimate view, but that doesn't change your ethnicity or your
Oswald, you're losing the point. If we're both equals in this country as English and British... I know you don't think I'm equal.
I don't think you are an equal in this country.
I know you don't, Oswald. I'm saying if we both think I'm equal to you in this country as both a British person and an English person, though not Anglo-Saxon, right? You would respect any view I offer you as to the future of white Anglo-Saxon people in this country as a equal view to yours because I have an equal stake in this country as a British or English person. But if you don't accept that I have an equal stake in this country as a Briton or an English person in the country of England, there's no point having a conversation with you because you're not going to accept what I say anyway, even if I'm right, because you think I don't belong here. So the question is really, Oswald, if you mean white Anglo-Saxon people and you can accept that I am a Briton and an Englishman in the country of England, I'm happy to carry on even though the switchboard is bursting with people trying to get through. I'm happy to carry on this conversation with you, but you would have to agree that I have an equal premise and a stake in this country first.
You may have, Majid, a stake in this country.
No, equal. Oswald, don't try and pull the wool over our eyes. Equal, please. Equal. Am I equal to you in this country as an Englishman?
Listen, no, you just changed the question. You've asked two different questions.
No, because they're all the same. Am I an equal Brit, an equal Englishman with an equal stake?
Majid, you're not British. You're not British. I'm sorry.
I know you believe that, Oswald. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to tell you this.
There is a genetic
you don't have to apologise.
Haplogroup 1B.
Sir,
because I feel sorry for you because you're...
Oswald, I'm trying to work out... I know you feel sorry for me, and I'm not angry at you. I'm trying to work out why you're confusing the ethnicity of being white Anglo-Saxon with the membership of a country called England.
So, say that again.
So, I don't think you actually genuinely understand what I'm trying to say to you, Oswald. I'm not angry with you. Because I've spoken to people with your views many times, right? I'm trying to understand why you cannot distinguish between ethnicity in the sense of a white Anglo-Saxon group. And I'm perfectly happy to have that conversation with you because I do think working class white Anglo-Saxons in this country have been terribly hard done by. In fact, if you stay tuned... And
Stop.
Oswald, wait. Stop. Oswald, I'm sorry, but you don't get to set the rules in this conversation. If you stay tuned for the next hour, you will hear me defending the Millwall fans, right? So... I, in fact, am incredibly critical, including, by the way, in environments I regularly mix in, of white liberals failing to understand the white working classes, and you will hear me talk about that in the next hour. But that is a separate conversation. White Anglo-Saxons and their plight in this country is a separate conversation to insisting that I'm not English or I'm not British. And I'm hoping, Oswald, that you can pass the labels you're attaching to that from the idea where we may actually end up agreeing with a bit more than you think I would if you could just stop calling me names like you're not British, you're not English. Is that fair, Oswald?
No, I'm not calling you names.
Come on, don't get distracted, man. Forget that I said names. Don't get distracted. Stay focused.
Right, but you've taken offence at it.
I'm not offended at all, Oswald. I've told you 3 times I'm not offended. Names. No, sir, I said forget the names bit. Stay focused, yeah?
Okay, all right.
Labels. Cool. Use the word labels if you like. The question is, can I be a member of the country of England?
Well, you can live here and you can have a passport here, but that doesn't go into
Can I be an
your
equal
ethnicity.
member? I know it doesn't. Can I be an equal member of the country of England?
An equal member? What does that even mean?
Equal to you as a citizen.
Well, if you're talking about the fact you probably own property here and have a passport here.
Oswald, listen, you know what you've just done? You know what you've done? You've damaged your cause incredibly because you had an opportunity right now to speak to somebody who's not angry, to speak to somebody who was going to be rational with you, to speak to somebody that was giving you a chance, more so than anyone else, because you've had the entire segment of 15 minutes. We've got to go to the news. I was giving you a chance to articulate yourself in a way that doesn't deny my identity, and I would have sympathised with you, as I've already said. The next hour is on me sympathising with Millwall fans that booed taking the knee. You just missed a huge opportunity to bring people together and instead wanted to focus on the label that I'm not an Englishman or I'm not British, which is fine. You've got every right to hold that view. But unfortunately, you've done your own cause a disservice. And I suspect your cause is very important. The importance of your cause is to stick up for the white working classes. I'm with you on that. But you've done your whole cause a disservice because now all anyone's going to hear, and I'm not calling you this, by the way, because I don't call people names, but all anyone is going to hear is racist. And that's unfortunate, Oswald, because I genuinely want to be able to have a conversation with people like you and bypass the silly labelling, because it's just not needed, who's English, who's not English, and just actually talk about the substance. But I wish you called in the next hour, because maybe we'd had a different chat. Anyway, Oswald, I hope you have a good day. I hope you have a nice, Christmas mulled wine and chill and relax.
Even though this exchange first aired back in 2020, it's remarkable how familiar the arguments still sound today. The faces may change, but the rhetoric often doesn't. What stood out wasn't just the caller's position, it was the complete refusal to engage with any evidence or even entertain a different perspective. The host stayed calm, asked straightforward questions, and repeatedly tried to move the discussion toward a constructive conversation. Yet every opportunity to find common ground was rejected. At the heart of this debate is a distinction that still causes confusion. Ethnicity is not the same as nationality. In the United Kingdom, British citizenship and national identity are defined differently from ethnic heritage. That nuance matters, but it's often lost when identity debates become driven by emotion rather than facts. What makes this exchange so revealing is that it reflects a broader challenge facing modern Britain. Whether the issue is immigration, integration, or national identity, meaningful discussion becomes almost impossible when one side refuses to consider any viewpoint beyond its own. That's how political echo chambers grow, and that's how division deepens. The real lesson here isn't simply that one caller was wrong. It's that democracy depends on people being willing to listen, question their assumptions, and engage in honest debate. When that disappears, so does the possibility of finding common ground. And perhaps that's the biggest takeaway from this exchange, and a reminder of why these conversations still matter today. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one.